What's up, gentlemen? It is week 2. Hopefully I sound a little bit better. I did gank one of the microphones out of the stats office, so hopefully it doesn't sound as gargled. Here with your week 2 preview. It's a somber commissioner. 0-1. Get to play one of the easiest teams in the league, and I could be facing 0-2 still. Look at the week the week lines. A lot of really close matchups. The Pulsating Rhino Nuts is the biggest favorite over Pitts, Pontiac Pit Stop. Other than that, 49%, 48%, 44. FIBO is the next biggest, or FIBO or Admirals, I guess. A lot of really, really close matchups this week. Going to be hard to predict the victors. I think the favorites did go 6-0 last week. I don't think that happens again this week. Just quickly, I am going to take the Nuts. I'm going to take FIBO. Mike could drop to 0-2 as well. You know what? Screw it. Let's go with it. I'm going with Organized Chaos over Los Angeles Outlaws. I'm going to do this too. I'm going to take Ivan over me. My team is so terrible. I hate it. We'll take Mayhem over the Masonites because our division is terrible. 7-6 wins our division easily, if not 6-7. And then this is actually going to be a good matchup. Rio Grande Revolution and the San Antonio Admirals. I mentioned it earlier this week. I'm making my matchup with Ivan, the Kia Sorrento matchup of the week. My lock of the week is Pulsating Rhino Nuts over Pontiac Pit Stop. And Rio Grande versus San Antonio, I'm making this not only my professional hydro seeding rivalry matchup of the week, I'm also making it my next Impact matchup of the week. It's the only game that pits two 1-0 teams against each other, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's a interstate rivalry with San Antonio and Rio. Well, depends. Oh, he did say he was going to be in El Paso, which is in Texas, not on the Mexican side. So it's an in-state rivalry. It's a division rivalry. Winner goes to 2-0, and then they have the tiebreaker leg up over the other one. If Mayhem does lose to the Masonites, huge matchup right here. A lot of these matchups are just close to a coin toss. We'll get into that matchup here a little bit more. But over on the division odds side, I mentioned last week that all of the matchups were between the best and the second best teams in each division. And so not surprisingly, the four teams that won the division matchups last week, Masonites over me, Nuts over Seattle, Admirals over Mayhem, and Fearboners over Outlaws. Not surprisingly, they are the favorites right now. And two of them really, really large favorites. Doug and Brian already are running away with the division. It's only a one-game lead on the rest of the division, but it's more having to do with how terrible these four teams are. And I put my team in that terribleness right now. I don't know how you guys voted me number one. The South and the West, it's a little more up for grabs. Admirals were able to beat their big rival. Admirals have a lot better team than Rio or Mayhem. And then out west, once Mike gets his guys back, he could give Ferguson a run for his money. I still think that that's Ferguson's division to lose, and the numbers back that up. Let's look at what we got going on this week. So in terms of the impact, there we go. The numbers actually say that FIBO versus Seattle is the most important matchup of the week in terms of how it impacts the probabilities and stuff. Maybe I'll make a separate video later for those of you that actually care about that if my word explanation didn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's get into the impact matchup of the week between the Revolution and the Admirals. Durs, I made you a new logo. you need to update your logo on there. Quarterback, I'm going to give to Matty Ice over Peyton Manning. Manning did not look good last week. The whole Denver Broncos offense didn't look good. They're on a short week. They have to go to Kansas City. Kansas City has a decent defense. And, yeah, Matt Ryan, very good first half, poor second half on Monday Night Football. But I think that he comes out guns a-blazing against the New York Giants. So I give Chris the nod at quarterback. Spoiler alert, looks like I'm picking the Admirals. Wide receiver, these are two very good wide receiving cores. No one really hiding down there. DeAndre and Keenan, fantastic weeks last week, but Julio and Matthews, fantastic weeks last week. Kendall Wright versus Fitzgerald, that's pretty much a wash. This is close, but because of the superstar power, Julio is so much better than any other wide receiver in this matchup. I'm going to give the nod to Durs. Running back, RB1s, we'll call it a wash, although Forte did look fantastic last week. I was worried about him. Got the rushing yards, which he did not get last year at all. He was more of a receiving threat. The yards all count the same. He still had a few receptions. Charles is on a short week, but they're playing at home, so that could go in his favor. But then RB2, Adrian Peterson against Bishop Sankey. No contest. That goes to the Admirals. Tight end, Bennett at home against Arizona, or Zach Ertz at home against Dallas. Ertz looked pretty healthy on Monday Night Football, but Bennett, coming off of his year last year, had a pretty solid week last week, if I remember correctly. I'm going to call this close to a wash, but a slight nod to Chris. Basically, if you don't have Gronkowski and then Jimmy Graham, Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen, you're a step behind, and everyone else is pretty much an also-ran. Bennett's probably towards the top, so a slight edge to the Revolution. For the flexes, Danny Woodhead, fantastic game last week, and I think that he's actually a better play than Melvin Gordon the rest of the year, especially PPR format. Gordon will probably pick up the slack a little bit as we get further in. And then we got, but he's got Miller. Miller's better than Woodhead, as good as I think Woodhead is going to be. Terrence filling in for Dez Bryant, or helping fill the void anyway of Dez Bryant against Cooper. Cooper didn't have a strong week last week. I'm going to give the nod to Terrence and Lamar. Kickers are worthless. So a lot of it could depend on what happens tonight. You know, two big names going tonight, Peyton Manning versus Jamal Charles. But overall, I am going to give the nod to the San Antonio Admirals. So if we go to the Pick'em, I strongly encourage everyone to do the Pick'em. Let's look at group picks. Go to week 2. That looks like Ferguson got his picks in. No one else. Well, that's not surprising. I did say I was going to take a couple underdogs. I don't care. So I'm going to change that over to Ivan. That way if I lose, then I'm at least kind of happy about something. And I am going to predict Justin to start off 2-0. I think you did this last year too, Justin. You started off really hot, and then your lack of depth caught up to you. Was there anything else? Oh, if you're watching this video, you probably saw everything up on Facebook. We already talked about that. The probabilities. I'm just dropping. I still have a 44% chance, but I've got an 8.4% chance of winning that stupid license plate. Yeah, I did want to talk about this a little bit. My running backs are frickin' terrible. Frickin' Andre Ellington. Why didn't I just spend that money on Forsett? At least I didn't spend it on Alfred Blue, I guess. But my running backs are terrible. Kelsey, Andrew Luck are near the top. The rest of my team is just junk. I don't know that I can move either one of those guys, though, because I got them both. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do to fix my team. I might just be screwed this year. well, you probably can't see Matt's score down here. He's projected 117. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, updated the power rankings. Brian down big, Mike down huge, Chris up big, Doug up big. Season is young, so one game makes a huge impact. I still like Brian to get the 1 seed in the playoffs. Not a whole lot of change down in the anti-playoffs. Chris and I swapped spots with his victory and my loss. Yeah, Chris has the best shot of sneaking into the playoffs. I would say that Mike has the best possibility of dropping out, I think. So, yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? No. So, I'm going with the Tigers. I'm going with the Fear Boners. Organized Chaos. Oh, I didn't talk about this match. I'm going with Miami Mayhem. I'm going with San Antonio Admirals. And I'm going with Pulsating Rhino Nuts. So those are my picks. Not a ton of in-depth knowledge there. Just make picks. Hopefully this sounded a little bit better. I look forward to... I'll put the over-under at 2.5 comments on this.